In Greek mythology, Athena, protector of Athens, goddess of war, goddess of handicraft, goddess of wisdom, daughter of Zeus, it is said that the goddess Athena was born fully formed, pulled from the forehead of Zeus, king of the gods. Athena, born fully formed from the imagination of Zeus. Occasionally, an athlete will enter our world fully formed, as if pulled from the divine mind, capturing our imaginations. Such was the case in 1984 when Dwight Gooden entered baseball and entered our lives fully formed. Welcome to the Rated Rabbi Sports Card Podcast, where sports cards and pop culture meet the 1984 All-Star Game. I am your host, Rabbi David Spinrad. Welcome to episode 45, Dwight Gooden of the Imagination. I pride myself on preparation. I love doing deep dives into the details. I love coming up with a narrative progression that is fun and informative and worth your precious time and mine. But for the first time in all these episodes, I feel as overmatched as trying to hit off of Dwight Gooden. There is, first of all, so much information out there, such a long, storied, and checkered career. I have very little I can say about Dwight Gooden that you don't already know. If we are similar in ages and lovers of baseball, you know the stories as well as I do. You know stories I probably don't. But nevertheless, in the top half of the fifth inning, Dwight Gooden takes over for Fernando Valenzuela in what is unquestionably the apex moment, the peak of the 1984 All-Star Game. Let's start it off with a card. It's a 1986 Fleer Superstar Special. Staff Aces Valenzuela and Gooden. This card, this photo, of course, taken in the 1985 All-Star Game, so not from 84, but I had it in my collection. I wanted to show it to you. Another one of these marvelous Superstar Special Staff Aces Valenzuela and Gooden. 1984, Dwight Gooden is a 19-year-old rookie, only 2 years out of high school. He was drafted 1982 by the Mets, first round, number 5 overall, and is immediately a god, unhittable. Out of Hillsboro High, goes and plays rookie ball, then on to low A. 1983, his first full rookie season. He's at high A, Lynchburg. Gooden goes 19-4. Gooden has a 2.50 ERA over 191 innings pitched, striking out 300 batters. Right away, Dwight Gooden is something real special. Davey Johnson, who'd been managing in the minors, doing some roving instructing as well, said, this guy's going to be something special, and wherever he pitches next year, I'm going to manage him. And lo and behold, Davey Johnson was correct. Johnson takes over the Mets 1984. Mets, who'd been really a laughing stock in the early 80s, instantly get better. They'll finish second behind the Chicago Cubs in 84 under Davey Johnson. Gooden, man, unbelievable. So what is it, before we get to his 84 season, What is it about teenage superstar athletes that just captures the imagination? And when you think about it, it's not really any other sport than baseball that I'm talking about. Football, very rarely have there been teenagers. I believe now should need to be 21. Vegas, Doctor Shark set me straight on that. I think you have to be 21 in the NFL. That's why no one could make the jump. It's way too fast, way too physical. The guys are too big, and in the NFL, they are way too sophisticated. Those are smart football players. Football players are not dumb jocks. So football players, they're not the teenage phenomenons. Basketball, I mean, you've had your guys, right? LeBron is the most obvious. Kobe, plenty guys are flameouts, right? For every LeBron, every Kobe, every Moses Malone, you have a Sebastian Telfair. Is that his name? I think it's Sebastian Telfair. Guys, who just don't do it. Jonathan Bender. A lot of guys don't make it coming out of basketball. And also the thing about basketball is they're just so big that we can't really relate to them, right? Like I can't believe how genetically similar we are to, you know, say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Almost the same genetics. Can't believe we're the same species, man. That guy, I love Kareem. It's baseball. It's not individual sports either. Those people hit early, right? Nadia Comaneci and Mary Lou Retton and people like that in gymnastics. You've got your tennis players that break on early, your Boris Beckers. Like those individual sports teen stars are something else as well. I'm talking, I think, most of all about those occasional baseball players who are teenagers and they break through. 2012, 19-year-old or rookie Bryce Harper has a heck of a first year, right? 19 years old. What does he do his first year out of the gate? Has a 5.2 WAR. Other guys, right? Soto's 19, Machado's 19. Let's go back a little bit. 1989 Junior. I think part of the love of Junior is he was like we'd like to think we would play baseball like Junior did with that boyhood childish joy, right? He's 19 years old in 1989, puts a 3.3 WAR up for the Mariners. Dwight Gooden has one of the great rookie seasons of all time in 1984. First half, he goes 8-5 with a 2.84, 111 innings pitched, 133 strikeouts. We're going to get to how he performed in the second half, but I want to break down what he does in the top half of the fifth against the American League. Remember, he takes over for Fernando, who had just struck out in a row. Dave Winfield or Reggie Jackson and George Brett. Gooden takes the hill, top half of the fifth, full shadow, right? Long and lean. Close your eyes. Remember what Gooden used to look like when he was just so young, so young. Long legs, right? Even made like leaner and like almost like equine in his legs, just muscular thighs, those awesome Mets pinstripes. So composed, perfect posture on the hill, big high leg kick that just dominating over the top fastball with natural movement. Oh man. And then what he brought was Lord Charles, is what they called it. Other people had Uncle Charlie for a curveball. Gooden's curve was so nasty. He called it Lord Charles. So picture, if you will, Gooden on top of the hill, top half of the fifth Candlestick Park, 19 years old, was and is still the youngest major league all-star. Parrish stands in. Gooden misses outside with a fastball. And you can know he's like a little bit amped up. He's a little bit off balance. He's a little bit overthrowing. Right. Next one, he's a little bit off balance. Lance Parrish swings and fouls it into the dirt, even it at 1-1. Next pitch misses a little bit low. It's 2-1 again. Gooden doesn't quite have his balance yet on the mound. Next one, fastball with movement. Parrish fouls it off, makes it 2-2. And then he rears back and throws this high fastball. Boom! Past Lance Parrish, strikes him out. Crowd gives him a nice round of applause. Chet Lemon steps up. Blazing fastball, takes it for a called first strike. Crazy 0-1 curveball, just boom, snaps it off. Swing and a miss by Chet Lemon. 0-2. Fastball high. 1-2. Throws another curve. I don't know how this missed. Lee Wire says no, it's a little bit high. 2-2. And then Gooden just rears back and blows one by Chet Lemon. Now we've got two up and all two struck out, two down. I'm like losing myself. I'm so excited. This is all from memory, by the way. I've seen this inning so many times. I can close my eyes and tell you exactly what's happening next. Alvin Davis, Al Michaels knows started the year in the minors. Here he is representing the Seattle Mariners. Gooden starts him off with a fastball, takes it 0-1. Curveball outside, evening the count at 1-1. Throws a hard fastball. Davis swings and misses 1-2. Next pitch, check swing, called a ball. I don't know how this was called a ball. The letter high, evening the count, and the crowd is super into it right now. Oh, I got super upset. 2-2, two outs, nobody on. Gooden just rears back and blows a high fastball by Alvin Davis. Strikes out the side. That's six set down in a row between Fernando and Gooden. Right? Crowds cheering. It's just like this apex moment. And there I am, 13 years old. Now I'm going to ask that same question again. What is it about teen superstar baseball players that capture our imagination? And all the more so if we're kids ourselves, if we're teenagers. What is it, right? I'm on one end of the teenage spectrum when Gooden's on the hill. I'm 13, but he's over there on the other end. He's 19. We're both teenagers, but I'm sitting in section 57, last row of the stadium, and he is there, unhittable, striking out the side, 19-year-old major leaguer. Captures the imagination, the mythology, like Athena born from the forehead, from the mind, from the imagination of Zeus, fully formed into our lives comes Dwight Gooden and just captures the imagination. And that's the thing that makes teenage baseball superstars so amazing. They capture the imagination when you're a kid, right? You haven't reached the age yet where you can't quite understand. Well, maybe if I just really, really work, right? Put in just tons of time in the cage, practice, 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 practice. Maybe if I grow, right? I'm not done growing yet. I'm 13 years old. Maybe if I'm left-handed. That's got to be a competitive advantage, right? Lefties, all right. Right? Reality hasn't set in when you're 13 years old. No one tells you that when you're a kid, actually, you can tell who the good players are in any sport, usually by the time they're like 5 or 6. So these a few kids, they're just different than the rest. Certainly by the time you're in the little league, 10, 11, 12, by the time I'm like in my little fantasy playing for Don Shank Insurance, 13-year-old Babe Ruth still harboring the dream. You never know. Dwight Gooden today, I do the math 6 years from now, could be me. 1990 pitching in the All-Star game. Wow, man. Teenage superstar phenoms, especially when you're a kid. Mm. Gooden strikes out the side and jogs off the field, loud, uproarious applause. I highly recommend checking this inning out. What's so amazing is I'm telling you this story, and you know what happens with Dwight Gooden. I know what happens with Dwight Gooden. But Dwight Gooden is just 19-year-old Dwight Gooden, and you're seeing something special. So to go back and find it on YouTube and watch it before Dwight Gooden is really all the other things that complicates Dwight Gooden. He's this 19-year-old striking out the side, jogging off the field, cool, composed, humble, stops just short of the dugout, walks into the dugout, and the men are there to congratulate him. There's Steve Garvey. Gary Carter puts out a hand, high five. Willie McCovey shakes his hand. There's a young Ryan Sandberg up out of the dugout. A lot of the coaches, Claude Osteen, Chuck Tanner, they're all there surrounding Dwight Gooden in the apex moment of the All-Star game. Second half of the 84 season, Gooden was dominant. Second half, he goes 9-4 with a 2.36, pitches 107 innings, strikes out 143 guys. Has this incredible stretch in September. End of the season, opens it up, gives up actually 4 earned in 8 against the Padres to open the month. September 1st gets the win. 5 days later, against the Chicago Cubs, throws a complete game shutout, strikes out 11, throws a one-hitter against the Cubs that day. Next start against the Pittsburgh Pirates, 8 innings pitched. Oh, no, 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 no. A complete game. This is actually amazing. So his third start of September throws a complete game, strikes out 16 Pirates for the win. Comes back again next start, allows 2 runs, one of them earned, again strikes out 16 guys, walks nobody, finishes the season against Montreal, strikes out 9, only allows 1 earned run. Unbelievable. What else can I tell you about that 1984 season? I feel overmatched by Dwight Gooden in my imagination. I have all these notes, and I just feel like I can't do Gooden justice. So I hope that you're with me in your heart. You just remember how special Dwight Gooden was. I'm going to show you a couple things. Here we go. First thing, do y'all remember this? Shea Stadium, the K Korner. I might do a deeper dive into the K Korner next episode. Remember, they would put up the K on the rim between upper and lower deck to the K Korner with a K. A lot of Ks. As a Jew, and I see KKK, I'm like, ah, but it's not that. Gooden got the K for every K. Remember the backwards K for the called third strike and that long row of Ks every time Gooden took the mound, man. Oh my gosh. What happens at the end of the season? Gooden's record is 17-9 on the season. Of course, wins the National League Rookie of the Year. Man, let's look at a card, shall we? 1984, tops traded, Dwight Gooden. The XRC, not the rookie card. I know some of you want to debate me. Some people say, no, no, no. The traded set is the rookie card. How, I ask you, how can the rookie card be a card that you could go to your hobby shop and buy the traded set and have the card? Absolutely, positively, no darn way. Traded set, fine. XRC, fine. But a rookie card can and only be pack pulled. Hence, I give you one of the most important cards of the 1980s, the 1985 Dwight Gooden. To me, this was the chase card in 85 tops. I remember, oh my God, how stoked I was to get this card. I still love this card. Definitely a top 10, if not top 5 card of the 1980s in my imagination. Picked this one up when I got back into collecting. Had the ones I pack pull, but actually sold them. Wasn't that sentimental, I guess. Took that money and bought a nicer one. 84, that typical 84 set during his rookie year, which I think is cool, but the 85 is a spring training shot. 85, very 80s looking set. Had a couple other cards that were of note. If you recall, what else do we have in 85? We have Roger Clemens rookie card. We have Kirby Puckett rookie card. And, you might not consider him in that category, but the Eric Davis rookie card was a big card. That's actually a pretty good set. Big 80s players. 1984 tops, great card. Not the rookie card, not pack pull. 1985 Dwight Gooden, iconic to me, the rookie card. You can leave a debate comment in the comments, but you can't talk me off of Pack Pulled Rookie Card Mountain. So, in winning the Rookie of the Year award, Dwight Gooden becomes the winningest 19-year-old since Wally Bunker wins 19 games, goes 19-5 for the 1964 Baltimore Orioles. He actually has a pretty decent career, but who's ever heard of Wally Bunker unless you're an Orioles fan? Pitches from 63 to 68 for Baltimore, wins a World Series, actually pitches well for them in 1966, ends up playing 3 years for the Kansas City Royals, 69 to 71. The deep dive Wally Bunker statistic category later becomes a children's author and illustrator. Anyway, I've got a second card here for 1965 with that awesome, awesome rookie trophy. 1965 Wally Bunker. Before the arm injury sort of waylaid Mr. Bunker. That's a great looking rookie trophy with the top hat. For some reason, it always reminds me of a Monopoly piece. I think it must be the top hat with the guy swinging through. Bottom of the base is Topps 1964 All-Star rookie Wally Bunker. Wins 19 as a 19-year-old. Later goes on to write and illustrate children's books. All right, 1985. We are still in the Dwight Gooden of the imagination. This is if the 84 All-Star Game appearance is the apex of the 84 All-Star Game, unquestionably, 1985 is the apex of Dwight Gooden's career. There are just some numbers that stand out in your mind, just like 1.12 for Bob Gibson. I also know 1.53. That's Gooden's ERA in 1985. Only Gibby's in 68 was lower than Doc's in the modern era. I also remember 24-4 because that's like a 24-4 with a 1.53. Has a 0.965 whip. Pitches 276 innings, 16 complete games, has a 13.2 WAR. Means if Gooden's pitching for you versus an average pitcher, your team is going to win 13 more games. And I think you'd be right about that, Phil. Gooden is a boss. He is a unanimous Cy Young Award winner. 27 votes for Doc. Interestingly enough, with all of those incredible numbers, with the 13.2 WAR, which is the second highest since Babe Ruth put up a 14.1 in 1923. For all of Gooden's greatness, he could have even be better. It was 11-1 in the second half in September. Let me run down some numbers. I got a note here. In September, Dwight Gooden throws 53 innings. In September, Dwight Gooden allows only 2 runs. In September, Dwight Gooden has a 0.34 ERA. And in September, Dwight Gooden has consecutive no decisions in which he pitches 9 innings and allows 0 runs. I mean, he could have been 26-4. Man. 1985, the apex of Dwight Gooden's career. Remember, he has that big mural in Times Square. 1986, Gooden starts to lose it a little bit. Lost a little zip on his fastball, his Ks per 9, slip a little bit. Is it overuse? He did pitch a lot of innings at a young age, I think through the lens of modernity and how pitchers are managed now. I think we can agree that the amount of innings he was pitching at a young age were probably too many, considering he wasn't fully developed physically. He still was going to mature even as he was fully formed. Or was it the drugs and alcohol? Was it the substance abuse problems? Probably. We know in 86 he was drinking a lot. We know he started to do cocaine in 86. We know miss the Mets victory parade because he spent all night bumping lines at his dealer's apartment. But this is Dwight Gooden of the imagination. There'll be other Dwight Gooden episodes ahead. We're not talking about the fall. This is the rise. This is the excitement. This is the oh my God, Dwight Gooden, Dr. K. 1986 Mets, apex of his career. Mets win the World Series. I'd like to put forth the proposition to you, Mookie. If you're listening, Mookie, let me know. Are the 1986 Mets the best and most compelling World Series winner of the 1980s? I know I asked you two questions. I asked you, are they the best? And I asked you, are they the most compelling? Best? Maybe that's a relative term. I think best might have been those 89 A's, right? Most compelling? Without a doubt, the New York Mets are the most compelling, most memorable World Series winner from the 1980s. Have you seen that Once Upon a Time in Queens multi-part 30-30? So good. Oh my gosh. You know who's the hidden star in that 30 for 30 Once Upon a Time in Queens? The hidden star, the breakout, the ingenue is Kevin Mitchell. Kevin Mitchell interviews are so awesome. I love Mitchell, man. Pooh Bear. All right, who do we got in that 86 team? You know, you got Gooden, you got Ojeda, you got John Franco, you got Sid Fernandez, you got wait, Ojeda? I was screwed that. Was Ojeda on the Red Sox at that point? Mookie, help me out. I need the full research. Who else is on that Mets team? You've got Keith Hernandez, Wally Backman, Ray Knight. You've got Darryl Strawberry. You've got, of course, Dwight Gooden. I got a card to show you, 87, celebrating that 86 World Series winning team. It's a superstar special from 1987. Says Magic Mets, Gary Carter, Sid Fernandez, Dwight Gooden in the middle, of course. Keith Hernandez and Darryl Strawberry. Has there ever been a more fun and compelling team? We even mentioned Nails. Can't leave out Lenny Dykstra. Wow, what a fun team that 86 Mets team was. Good, not quite the pitcher he was, but does have a ring to show for it. I want to tell you a personal highlight from 1986, May 23rd. May 23rd, 1986. My dad May 23rd, 1986, I am in the 10th grade. Dr. Shark is in the 7th grade. May 23rd, 1986. Cha-Cha, Stan Spinrad takes us out of school. We get to miss school to go out to Candlestick to see Gooden pitch against the Giants. On the hill against Gooden that day for the Giants, Mike Krukow, who actually goes on to win 20 games that season. So it's a darn good matchup. You got Krukow, you got Gooden, and the Giants thump Gooden that day, man. The Giants have a good year. I think they go 80. What do they go? 84 and 78. First year with Roger Craig as their skipper. They beat Gooden that day 10-2. Chili Davis goes 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs, scores 3 runs. The Hackman, gotta do an episode on Hackman. Jeffrey Leonard goes 2 for 5 with a ribby and scores twice. And Jose Uribe. Jose Uribe goes 2 for 4 with 2 ribbies. But the real story of the game isn't that Gooden gets tagged for 9 hits, walks 2, 3 Ks, and 6 earned runs and 4 plus. It is not the story. The real story is this guy, Mike Krukow, who is dominant. I'm showing you, for those who are listening at home, an unopened pack, 1984 tops, Krukow on top. Let me read the quote to you from this New York Times article from the following day, May 24th, 1986. And I quote, "When Dwight Gooden pitches and doesn't win, it's news. When he pitches twice and doesn't win, it's probably big news. When he pitches three times and doesn't win, well, whatever it is, it happened today in Candlestick Park." The 21-year-old ace of the Mets staff was knocked out of the box in the fifth inning as the San Francisco Giants trampled the Mets 10-2 between a wondering crowd of 27,442, which is a big crowd for a weekday at Candlestick in May. That's how big Dwight Gooden was. 27,442 midweek day game in May before school is out. That's how big the phenomenon was. My dad took us out of school to see Gooden pitch. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for making us just that much cooler in this life. It says Gooden was outpitched and far outlasted by 32-year-old Mike Krukow, who was tagged for 2 hits and 2 runs in the first inning, but then shaped a masterpiece. It says Krukow retired the next 23 batters and left after 8 innings with a 2-hitter. And when Greg Minton pitched a perfect ninth inning, it meant that 26 Mets in a row had bitten the dust. Man, what a great memory. 1986. Thank you so, so much for making that a part of my life, Dad. Well, then there's a long descent for Gooden. You know the reasons why. Overuse, substance abuse, has injuries, has shoulder injuries, right? 89, 90. Well, actually has a good year in 88, goes 18-9 for a 100-game winning team, but 89 to 91 are substandard, right? He's injured, does the innings, has losing records in 92 and 93, 94. Doc gets suspended. 95, he's suspended for the entire season. We love a rise to fame, particularly a young superstar meteor streaking across the sky. And we cannot avert our eyes when that meteor begins to crash and burn. But we also love a comeback story. 1986, Dwight Gooden signed as a free agent by the New York Yankees early in the season. Remember, Gooden is struggling. Gets sent down to the minors to work on his mechanics. Gets brought up May 14th, 1996. What does he do? He throws a no-hitter. Gooden, redemption, is suspended for an entire year in 95. By now, we know he's never going to be what we hoped and dreamed he would be when he emerged fully formed from our collective imaginations. By 96, we know it's not going to be. But don't you remember how cool it was when Gooden for the Yankees threw a no-hitter against the Mariners? You know, I've got a card to show you. 1997 Upper Deck. It says Dwight Gooden celebrates his first career no-hitter. There he is up on the shoulders of his Yankee teammates, glove on his hand, arms up, pumping his arms raised. Such a smile of redemption. Man, if you don't know this card, if you're listening, you should watch us on the YouTube. There's just such a sense of exaltation in Gooden's face. He's smiling, but also like screaming for joy. There's a Paul O'Neill in the front. You got Bernie Williams in the picture. Who else we got here? Jorge Posada next to him. That's so funny. All I need is like an eyebrow and an eye. You can tell it's Jorge Posada. Oh, wow. What a great baseball card. 1997 Upper Deck. Backside's awesome, too. Doing interleague at this time, right? 97. You got Gooden swinging a bat for the Yankees. That is kind of fun. 1996. Highlight moment. Dwight Gooden, no hits. The Seattle Mariners. On the season, he was all right. He was up and down. Gets left off the 96 postseason roster for the Yankees. Doesn't appear in that World Series. Does get the ring, of course. Gets a ring as well back in '86, ends up with 2 in his career. Man, Dr. K. I'm living in New York in 1996, bartending. I remember the Yanks making a postseason run. I'm bartending at the Chelsea Brewing Company at Chelsea Piers, what it's Top Golf or something where that driving range is. There's a brewery there. Helped to build it out, doing manual labor, and was the first head bartender at the Chelsea Brewing Company at the Chelsea Piers. It was fun. I had some great adventures. I remember being the private bartender for the Spin City Friday night wrap party, so I got to serve all sorts of drinks to all sorts of stars. I remember Michael J. Fox and Woody Harrelson, Richard Kind, who was absolutely quite a kind gentleman. I think a highlight of mine was I was a private bartender for the Spin City wrap party, and I remember when George Wendt was a guest star, and I got to serve beer to Norm. And over the years, that actually become one of my favorite life moments. It's also, if you ever play me at two truths and a lie, you best believe the truth that I served a beer to Norm from Cheers. Who else did I serve? Oh, I served beer, a glass of white wine to Harvey Keitel. SNL has the wrap party of their season premiere there. I think that must have been '96 as well. I served a white wine to Harvey Keitel, from Reservoir Dogs and all those awesome movies. That was quite disappointing. I was expecting like a bourbon or a martini. No, Harvey Keitel, white wine. Who else? Tom Petty. Remember Carrie Strug? Remember her from the '96 Summer Games? Oh my gosh. But I'm talking about being behind the bar when the Yankees won the 1996 World Series. Remember that series? It came back down 2-0 to the Braves, came back and ran the table 4 straight. Their first World Series win since the 1978 season. 1996, Jeter is your rookie of the year, or at least that's his rookie season. Their closer actually was not Mariano Rivera. I remember the closer still is John Wetland. I remember I don't know how you rhyme cousin. We're not really blood cousins, but my cousin, he's Mishpucha. Cousin E. Cousin E comes and he's with his family, with Steph, Andy, Uncle Mark, God bless his soul. Uncle Mark comes in and he's wearing a replica batting helmet, one of those plastic ones you get at the ballpark with no ear flaps. And he gives me he says, "Hey, if you wear this, if I give this to you, will you wear this behind the bar?" Heck yeah. So I'm wearing like a replica Yankees batting helmet. Yankees win the World Series, and after they won, some iBanker gave me $50 for it. That was a great night. Got to wear it for the game and then make $50. Thank you, Uncle Mark. May your memory be ever for a blessing. Man, I gotta stop. I don't know where to stop. I gotta stop here because I've been talking for over 38 minutes talking about good. And I just want to end on this. Like something very deep and emotional I feel about Dwight Gooden. There's something about his story that I feel like just a human connection to. There's that dazzling glory of his youth that it made me dream maybe I could be that. Then there's the fall and just feeling like sad. There's remembering the SI cover in '93 where it said from Phenom to Phantom. Just being it's just being kind of like sad, right? There's a celebrating what was and there's the sadness of what could have been. We're gonna get into some of that what could have been next time, but I don't want that next episode to be a downer. I don't exactly know what I want it to be. Maybe just emblematic of the human experience, right? All right. Thank you so much for coming on this ride with me. This has been episode 45, Dwight Gooden of the Imagination. Until we meet again, may you be blessed and may you enjoy health and long life. So long for now.